folks, JD here, and I've been asked a question. Right, cracking question. Where do I start? I've been trying to make this video, I think, for 2 days, and I think this is about the 8th take, and I've distilled everything that I've done into 4 points. So, point number 1, pick a subject. Very important. You have to know what you want to talk about. It can be pretty much almost anything. YouTube is pretty open. I mean, it's a great platform to reach as many people as possible, and you can pretty much talk about anything. I chose RC for this particular channel as what has been my hobby for a long time. So subject is absolutely key. If you want to stick, regimentally to that subject, that's entirely up to you. If you want to waver back out or whatever, it's entirely up to you exactly how the channel looks and how the channel feels and exactly which way you want to move it in which direction. Point number 2, executed well. Right, so with this, what I mean by that is make sure the videos are quite fun, informative, and that above all, they're interesting. So with a lot of my flights, a lot of my unboxings, I decide in my head that I want a video to be like a transitional story. So the unboxing is story number 1, the beginning of a story, if you will. The middle bit of the story is the flight test, and then the end of the story could be something like a GPS calibration video or an app video or something, and that just marries, in my head, that marries up that particular quadcopter or car and makes it complete. That is a story. So that's how I execute it. Loads of different people do it in loads of different ways. But to me, see, if I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to talk about pretty much everything about it. I'm going to show you exactly how to use the app, what the app entails, how to fly it, how to drive it, how good the camera is, how good some of the features are, and exactly what you get in the box. That to me is a story. Now, it could be anything for you. When I was vlogging on my other channel, I decided I would pick a subject and talk about that subject for 3 to 5 minutes. And I found that a lot of the time, my more erratic videos were a little bit better received, rather than the regimented, scripted and storied versions. So it's entirely up to you exactly how you execute that, but what I would suggest is execute it well. Number 3, decide on video length. Right. So I made a video here, and I said in it that a good video is going to be no more than 10 minutes. Right. So I have clearly, on this channel, I've forgotten everything that I have said there, because I have recently done a video which is 15 minutes in length. So what I would suggest, I think I've got a guideline in my head, is 10 minutes is a good length for a video. You can talk about whatever it is that you're talking about. You can show, if you're flying, you can take something out for a flight or something like that, and you have a bit of time for verdict at the end. 10 minutes is a good length, I think, in my mind. 15 minutes is okay, but you start to lose audience retention, and it's very important that you keep the audience engaged for as long as you possibly can. That's why I think 10 minutes is a good length. Now, there's been loads of times where I have made 45-minute videos because I've taken multiple batteries with me, and I've made that into a 6-minute video, because half the time is me walking around just talking absolute nonsense, just happy to be out in a field flying something that I really enjoy flying. But I think as well it's important that you keep a time in mind and you try and work to that. Number 4, make it fun. Now this is difficult, and I really struggled with this up until probably about August or September time last year. So I went through a whole year and a bit of kind of not really making the videos fun. It was very sort of regimented, everything was scripted, and that I would sit down and I'd write down what I would talk about, and I found that when I watched those videos back, I thought to myself, wow, that's just really not fun. So what I've tried to do is, in the past few months, I've bought a new computer and I've tried to make my videos better. I've upped the quality, I've introduced transitions, because yes, if I tried to do that on my 7-year MacBook, the MacBook would kernel panic and die. And then I'd have to restart it and then take out the transition. So my videos were very choppy, were very cutty, and I didn't like it. But now I have the ability to add in transitions to make the story move a little bit more fluid, to make things a little bit nicer. I've got good intros, good outros, and I've got a structure of how I want that video to look. Now, multiple camera angles are also good, keeping things very fresh. That's also good as well. What I would say though, above all, just have fun. Have fun. I do. I stand in a field and people think I am totally mental because I'm standing in a field laughing at a drone. You know, and dog walkers walk past me. I've had a few come up to me and saying, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just a 33-year-old man standing in a field laughing at something flying. It's totally fine. Have fun with it. I'm going to add another point as well. Point number 6, social media. So YouTube is where I conduct the most of my business as far as it goes with uploading videos and making content for that. But I also have Facebook and Instagram as well, and those two are pretty much for behind the scenes. Whenever new deliveries come in, I take photos of that and try and engage people from another direction. So whereas YouTube is kind of like the finished article, Instagram and Facebook are for things like, oh, I've just crashed this drone, or this repair went bad, or these new ones have been delivered or something. Now I never show which ones are going to come out. That's totally on purpose, but I obviously show the boxes when they arrive. And I think that's a key point, because I think people like to see everything that's happening in the background as well as what's happening in the foreground. Foreground being YouTube, background for me being Facebook and Instagram. And I think that works quite nicely. It's a different angle, and I like to use that quite a lot. And yeah, I would suggest social media. Use social media as much as you possibly can. Engage with people. Ensure that the comments that you reply in a timely manner. I always try to reply within a few hours. Sometimes I can't because either I'm sleeping or whatever, or I'm just not available. But as soon as I become available, I will get back and I start commenting. And even if it's just to thank people for taking the time to comment, that means a hell of a lot to me, and therefore I'm going to comment back and say thank you. So I think it's important, social media, not just because when I first started, I noticed I was just using YouTube and that was it. And I realised that I had an untapped resource in Facebook and Instagram, and it was about 3 or 4 months after I started the channel that I opened up these 2 pages, and I was getting totally different questions, totally different things from Facebook and Instagram. I was getting people on Instagram and Facebook ask me totally different questions to what I was getting on YouTube, and it was really, really good. The contrast was really something quite special, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought that's exactly how I'm going to do it. Now, if you want to find me on those channels, in the description every single day when a video comes out, the description is full of information. But I think social media is key. I hope this has answered your question. I can see the little timer. You can't see it, but I can see it on the camera, and it's so far saying it's 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So I tell you what, I think I'm going to wrap that up there if I'm going to listen to my own advice and get this under 10 minutes. So I hope that's answered your question, Vlog Nation. I wish you all the very best. Let us know when you start putting up a load of videos, and I'll go over and have a little look at them. Not a problem at all. So there we are, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. If you've got any recommendations, keep them coming in. Until next time, my friends, happy flying.